Now this way of hooking up a button to a function is one of two possible ways. We have our function here, our named function inside of stateless widget, and then we connect it here to onPressed. Now another way of solving this would be to use an anonymous function. This here is a named function because it has a name. Now if you have a function which you really only need here in this one place and you're never calling it from anywhere else in the application, which is already not the case here because we have 3 buttons that use the function, but let's say you only had 1 button, then instead of using a named function, which you can always do, but instead of doing that, you can add a function right here. Now without a name, but you simply add parentheses to get any possible arguments. In this case, you don't get any though, so it's an empty pair of parentheses. And then either that one line expression syntax with an arrow function, and then the code you want to execute. So here answer 2 chosen, for example. Or if I do the same on answer 3, you can also add curly braces for a possibly longer function body. So here you could now do some stuff and then in the end print answer 3 chosen, like this. And here I had 1 parenthesis too much. Now if I save that, you will see that if I click answer 1, 2, 3 here, we see answer chosen. That's from the answer 1 button, which executed our name answer question function. Then we had answer 2 chosen, which is coming from my anonymous function here, and answer 3 chosen, which is coming from the function here. And it's called anonymous because it has no name here, it just has the argument list and then the function body. Now an anonymous function always is a good idea if you never need to call it from anywhere else in the code, because you can't call it from anywhere else, it has no name. But you don't need to, well, define it up here if you only need it in one place. So these are 2 function syntaxes which you will also see throughout the course. Please note that this also is not executed immediately. This is just a function definition. I didn't add parentheses after that, which would execute it immediately. Instead, I just define my function here with the arguments in the function body, and I pass that definition of the function to onPressed, which therefore ensures that the raised button can execute the function when the user really pressed the button. So that's a lot of fun with buttons and functions, and it's a crucial building block of Flutter applications, because in your typical application, of course, you do interact with the user and you want to give the user some chance of interacting with the application. And that requires, well, exactly what we learned here. Nonetheless, right now we're really just doing some behind the scenes stuff, right? We're really just printing something here. And that's nice for debugging so that we see that the buttons really are pressed, but it would be nicer to change something on the screen before we then also later work on the general layout and the look of this. And that is exactly what we'll do next. Let's make sure that something changes on the screen when we press one of these buttons.